Matt Rife went very, very viral, where he told a joke that, honestly, it wasn't offensive, but it really wasn't all that funny, but people got pissed.
Okay, if people are offended by it, it must be slightly offensive.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know about that.
Everyone's really offended. But this is on a Netflix special.
Yes.
Called Natural Selection. Matt Rife told this joke that is related to domestic violence. Everyone got really outraged by it because his audience is primarily female. I didn't know that. Why does he have a female audience specifically?
Because he's known for being good looking. You disagree, but
Okay, but I look at this guy and all I can see is lip filler, cheek filler, Botox, and a chin implant.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe even hair plugs.
So basically, the joke that he made was he made a domestic violence joke about a woman at a restaurant having a black eye.
We can't even show it to you because Netflix doesn't let you.
Immediately get you demonetized.
Yeah.
But the point is that the joke wasn't offensive. I just thought it was kind of clumsily delivered. But the problem is now a bunch of people are very angry at him for what he had to say. And the problem is, if you apologize once, you're then looking over your shoulder for the rest of the time you're making jokes. So there is no upside to doing so. And he seems to agree, because what he did after he released this and people got mad, he released a mock apology in which he linked them to a special needs helmet for sale, which I believe is the right thing to do. I don't think apologizing does you any good. I think the second you bend the knee, you end up being owned by the mob.
If you're a comedian, feel free to lose those fans that are offended over everything, because then in turn you'll also gain fans that are not and actually find you funny.
And posted this to his Instagram story saying, if you've ever been offended by a joke I've told, here's a link to my official apology. Tap to solve your issue.
2 socks.
Buy a special needs helmet.
2 socks.
See, that's not
420
funny,
says,
but
what did he even say? Basically, a woman at a restaurant had a black eye, and the joke was about how
they should put her in the kitchen so people don't have to see her.
And then he basically said that if she was good in the kitchen, she wouldn't have gotten the black eye to begin with.
And I was just watching it with a straight face. Like, I don't think any stand-up specials on Netflix are funny. It's just very standard fare.
A bunch of them said, so one of the problems I had was there in the Daily Beast article, it said like jokes like this perpetuate violence, which is just a lie. That's not true. That's just one of those huge statements they make without any correlating evidence that says, here's a list of men who say they immediately went to beat their women after watching jokes about
it takes a lot of mental gymnastics and convoluted reasoning to get there. So they would say, Matt Rife's joke ridicules the concept of a woman being domestically abused, which makes people take that issue less seriously. Therefore, less victims are going to feel that they have the ability to speak out and get out of these situations. And it perpetuates a culture that excuses this behavior. Right. It takes like many, many steps to get there, but it's obviously not grounded in reality.
Yeah, it's just like a roundabout BS reason for censorship.
So he said, that's one thing I wanted to tackle in this special, is showing people that despite what you think about me online, I don't pander my career to women. I would argue this special is way more for guys. So the title of the Daily Beast article is, Matt Rife wants men to like him, so he punches down at women. And the comedian best known for being a hunk says he doesn't want to pander to female fans. So he opened his Netflix special with a domestic violence joke. But like looking at this guy, I don't understand how he is known for his looks.
For being a hunk?
For being a hunk?
That's a bit of a stretch.
He looks like very Juvederm puffy.
Yeah.
Like he's overcompensating for something.
I can't hear the phrase punches down without thinking of Dave Chappelle anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's just been so overused now.
In a way, he's kind of riding that coattail of someone who's way funnier than him, Dave Chappelle. Right? Like I didn't think that this joke was funny. It's not offensive to me either. It's kind of just uncreative. Hank Green tweeted, a comedian ruining his relationship with a large portion of his fan base because he wanted to be like all the other boring Netflix special, you can't tell jokes anymore crowd is actually just depressing.
Look,
You can't tell jokes anymore crowd. Who belongs to that crowd? Ricky Gervais?
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle?
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen?
It is true that people will say that domestic violence jokes are not funny. They're wrong. Bill Burr has done whole bits about Rihanna getting beat up that were absolutely hilarious. That doesn't mean you find domestic violence hilarious.
Right.
It means you found the storytelling that was told within the joke to be funny and illuminating to some aspect of the culture, which is fine. There should be no sacred cows when it comes to any type of humor like this. Also, like there was another one of him like making fun of a deaf person at a show, where it's like, look, he does good. What people say is like he's got good crowd work, right? And the thing is, that joke was at the very start of the special, which means it was designed to break the crowd in.
Well, after he cracked the joke, he said, like, just testing if you guys are going to be fun tonight or whatever.
Yeah. So you find the line, you push it to the line of where you think that's going to be, and you go there. Nobody has a right to tell you that you can't punch up or down, because to someone like him, he's always going to be punching down because he's a straight white dude. He'll always be punching down. He will never be punching up. I guess, but then he can make fun of Jeff Bezos and billionaires, which those lame people who were making these TikToks would love, right?
What is a dark sense of humor if you can't make fun of people?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's very, very silly to say that you can't do that.
Someone replied, comedians who want to join that crowd are always like this or become like this. Yeah, man, of course I have a dark sense of humor. Misogyny, fake edginess, racist stereotypes, jokes about minorities, sexism.
Yeah.
I think that those things are not inherently funny, but can be made into jokes if you're talented at writing them.
Right.
Also, what then allows, like, so then does that mean you're not allowed to criticize the women who insult men because technically they're punching up, right? So it's not a recipe for sincerity from your audience, right? Because people want to feel like everybody is fair game. Otherwise, you never know where the line is. And for a comedian, then you never have any clue when you're making something whether you're going to be allowed to say this or not. It's best to just act as if you can and then go with the punches. There's no reason to even worry about what the people who are naysayers are saying about it. I saw like 5 TikToks that were made about this and a bunch of articles that were written that were all very, very bland and by the numbers, telling you what you can and can't say. It's pointless. It's stupid. Is this the type of thing where do you think they found the comment about the special needs helmet more offensive or less offensive than the joke itself?
It sort of seems like he's stealing the joke from Candace Owens, because she had that college tour clip that went viral where a student was in her line for questions and she said, how do you feel about the fact that you're actively making students feel unsafe on this campus?
It's also stupid
and she said, I don't know, get a helmet. I'm too pregnant for this. He kind of stole that joke.
It's also stupid because, look, you can go on Instagram and look at reels that are 100 times. The stuff that I look at every day is 1,000 times more offensive than this on a daily basis. The things that I send people to my friends tend to be 1,000 times more offensive than anything that this dude has said.
He had a really big bit on OnlyFans that went viral, right?
Yeah.
What was that about?
I don't even remember. It was everything that I've seen.
Then he had
from
like
him,
another joke about crystal chicks.
Yeah. Everything that I've
Ladies
seen
put down
from
the
him,
pebbles.
Everything that I've seen from him has been in shorts, but he's got 6.4 million subscribers, so he's not going anywhere. Like, you're not going to lose your audience just by virtue of that size. One special isn't going to be enough to do you in.
Well, by comedians becoming so unfunny, they created a vacuum for people to fill.
Yeah.
So if he sees the opportunity, it might be a good thing if he's able to get women to laugh at themselves, which this culture prohibits.
Let's watch one of these from the people that were complaining. What was the one that you said was this lady, right?
The most annoying
like
woman on TikTok.
Obviously. From men and women, but primarily women, which is bummer. But I mean, I know why that is. What rhymes with maternalized misogyny? but I digress. You know what I mean? That's for you to unpack on your own. All of the comments in this vein of like, oh, it's just you getting offended, speaks to how you perceive the intellect of people who just don't fuck with punching down comedy. Because the understanding is that we're so fucking stupid and fragile. Snowflake, can't joke about anything these days. They say that, but it never stops them. So what are you talking about? All are like, I can't joke about being racist anymore, and you do it all the time. So who's stopping you, bitch? Not us, clearly. But that's besides the point. I want to float this idea to you, though. Just mull it over. Let's see what you think. Maybe the joke just sucked. Like, have you considered the fact that maybe it was ass? Because believe it or not, bitch, as a fucking indigenous, thick, brown woman, I have heard many offensive jokes. Time and time again. That shit don't hurt my fucking feelings. You think that was my first time hearing a fucking white guy with a concave chest and a god complex joking with the bros about how much he fucking hates women? It's like you don't know me at all. Did you just find me today? The irony of that entire situation is that it takes a great deal of intellect and wit and a unique perspective in order to write quality joke. But it takes a single-digit IQ to laugh at a joke where the punchline is you hitting women. Only the worst people you know laugh at shit like that. Let me tell you something. If I'm telling jokes and the only people laughing with me are men whose whereabouts on January 6th are currently in question, someone check me into a fucking hospital, bitch. Like
Wait,
something is wrong.
Wait, what is this about January 6th?
How did we get to January?
What was that? Where was Matt Rife on January 6th? Also, she's saying, I can't believe that her takeaway from that was his punchline is that he hits women. Yeah. He was actually if you thought about it, he was making a joke about the guy who's the abuser. He was making a joke at the expense of the abuser, because the stereotype is that you're such a piece of shit that you hit a woman for like burning your dinner.
Exactly.
Like, you're making fun of abusers and they're calling it enabling abusers.
She has a very Kamala Harris laugh.
Yeah, that cackle is
cackle.
Toxic.
It's a cackle.
And when she's talking about people saying they can't make jokes like this anymore, like what they really mean is that people can't make jokes like that without someone making a TikTok like this. And that's somehow like bringing January 6th up in the midst of all of it, which I still was confused about.
But Netflix is cool with it, clearly. So
everything should be fair game to make jokes of. If it's not, then there's no comedy. You have to be able to joke. Like the me and Dane, like many jokes about dead moms and parents.
Let the audience decide what's funny.
Yeah,
like, exactly.
They're the ones paying to see him.
And then the funny thing is, she's not wrong that the joke wasn't funny. Yeah. She's just wrong about literally everything else in her conclusion. So, that's the way of the world now. You just have to accept that people, and by comparing it to punching up and punching down, that is saying that there are certain things that are not acceptable, because you should not have to worry about where you are in the social class, because it takes a degree in Marxist philosophy to understand where you sit in the pecking order if you're not a straight white dude anyways. Like,
we need a manual.
You need a manual to figure out where in the totem you are, as far as like what part of the oppressed class you actually represent. So the best thing you can do is just to say F it and just make the joke anyways. Like I said, Bill Burr made these jokes a decade ago about Rihanna because he joked about Chris Brown beating her up because she wanted to go to Baskin Robbins. And that wasn't the actual joke. But the point is, the way he delivered it was funny. He also said, women, he said, gold diggers are the wife beaters for men. But guys don't have that Rihanna lumped up photo, so you can't tell that they've been abused. So he made plenty of jokes at the expense of a woman who was beaten by a dude, and it was funny. And it was, and nobody should have to feel bad about finding that funny.
Right.
Stupid.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.